I've been working as a software engineer for the same company for the last 6 years. What does that actually mean? It means that I've survived 2 layoffs. I'm happy about that. I've been through 3 reorgs. In reality, that means I've been through about 6 reorgs because you have to double it. Half of the times that a reorg happens, all that changes is the name of the team you're on. I was on the data team, then the name got changed to data squad, and now it's data group. Really, nothing has changed. My deliverables haven't changed. Most reorgs in the day-to-day don't really impact you much, especially if you're just a software engineer. Once you get to those higher levels, once you're a manager, then reorgs actually impact you. The last 6 years, I've stayed at the same company. I have thought about changing jobs, about looking for somewhere else, but I've never committed to it. The layoffs, there was a lot of people that were higher paid. So these people probably came into the company when money was easier to come by, and so their salaries they probably were a little bit higher than me, and that made them easier to get rid of. Well, since I've been there for 6 years, my pay is good. I'm very happy with the pay that I have. But it's a well-known fact that in the software engineering industry, if you switch companies, you're very likely to get a bump in pay. That's one of the reasons that you want to switch around. Well, now a couple years have passed. I think I'm very stable at my current job. I think my position is secure. There aren't any more rumors of layoffs around the corner. It feels comfortable. That's not the case, especially if you're a new grad. If you're a new grad, the industry is a barren landscape and there's not much hope. There's no light at the end of the tunnel here. It really looks like for the next couple of years and long term, hiring is really slowing down. There's going to be a loss of jobs. It looks like that's really the whole goal of these big AI companies. They want to replace a whole bunch of industries. They want AI to do the job of 10 engineers through one. I know that there's two main arguments here. There are those that say, oh, AI is really only going to help you be more productive. It's only going to make you be better at your job. And then there's the other argument that, well, AI is going to get so good that you won't need to work. None of us will need to work. These two arguments are interesting because they're almost the same thing in my opinion. If you get so good at your job that you're now doing the work of 10 engineers, for example, then we don't need to hire those 10 engineers. They're not needed. That means you and your 10 classmates that you graduated with, that you had 100 lunches with, that you stayed up late studying with, that you met in freshman year and now you're graduating with, and you're all looking for the same job. Well, guess what? Only one of you is going to get that job and the other 10 are shit out of luck. That's the reality of it. The alternative is that maybe all 11 of you aren't even needed, that ChatGPT and Gemini are able to communicate with each other and just completely replace you so that you're no longer needed in this equation. Your input isn't required. Both of these situations are terrible for people like you and for people like me. But it's great for the shareholders, it's great for ChatGPT, it's great for Gemini, and that's all that matters, right? The shareholders, that's all that matters. The shareholders, we're making them richer, that's all that matters. So, great, good job. There are many companies out there that are still doing hybrid, but there are very few companies that are still doing remote. We all know that most engineers would prefer to work remote. You don't really need to be with your team in person, especially if you have a lot of experience in the job or at the company or with that team. It's very simple to do your job at home. In many instances, it's even more productive for you to be at home. Let's not forget that many people were laid off in the last 2 years. These people are all very qualified. If you graduate with a comp sci degree, that means you're probably competent software engineer and you would do a good job. But you're now competing with people who potentially have masters, who have PhDs, who have other advanced degrees, who have 10 years of experience, who have 20 years of experience. It is such a tough job market for you and for all those people that you're competing against. Honestly, thinking about that stresses me out because it's tough. I know it's tough. Well, you're competing with all these people that were laid off in the last 3 years, and you're competing against all of your current classmates and all of the other engineers around the US and really around the world, especially in companies and really around the world. Nearshoring has really become a booming business. There are many US companies that are now hiring engineers in Canada and in Mexico. Back then, offshoring was a big thing, hiring engineers in India, but now companies are hiring engineers that don't live too far from you so that they're in a similar time zone. So Mexico and Canada, there's lots of companies that are nearshoring there. So you're competing with all of these different people. And we all want the same thing. We all want that comfortable six-figure job right out of college. It's just not coming as easy anymore. You really have to be the best of the best, but you also have to be willing to take a lower pay. You have to be incredible at technical interviews. And hey, on the technical interviews, you want to talk about inflation? Talk about tech interview inflation. Back then, you just needed to know how to solve a couple of EC problems. Maybe you had to do a BFS, maybe you had to do a DFS. Sometimes if you got lucky, all you needed to do was solve twosome. Now, you cannot get away with knowing any easy problems. Nowadays, you need to be able to solve the hardest problem on LeetCode that has been attempted 10,000 times and only solved 3 times, all by kid prodigies who have been coding since they came out of the womb. It's so difficult now, and I suck at coding interviews. Honestly, I have nightmares about needing to do coding interviews again. I go on LeetCode, I look at some easy problems, and I just slide on out of there. Inflation is real, and so is tech interview inflation, all right? That's the current state of software engineering as a whole. I was inspired to talk about this because nowadays, it's just so hard to get a job. You're hearing more and more stories of software engineers being out of work for many months or even up to a year. It's just becoming more and more common. I was inspired to talk about this because I saw this thread. Let's read the thread and let's respond to some of the comments. On one end, I hear many stories of people pulling in 100K to even 200K straight out of college, working from home with great work-life balance, free food, while being able to play ping pong in the office during free time. Seems like the dream job that I'm thinking about pursuing. On another end, you also hear stories of unemployed engineers struggling to find work. Which one is correct, and would you recommend it as a career today? The thing is, they're both correct. There are many people who are able to There are some lucky people who are able to get that 100K job right out of college. They're playing ping pong during lunch, they're playing ping pong after work, and they're playing ping pong after breakfast. There are some people out there that are very lucky, very competitive. Things worked out really well for them that they're able to find a job offer paying 6 figures right out of college. There are some people that even have multiple offers and they're able to negotiate an even higher pay. Usually not more than 200K, but around that 6 figures, 100 to 200K. But 100K to 200K was very reasonable 6 years ago when I first started, and it should still be very reasonable. However, there are many people, I'd say even more people now, more than probably ever in the software engineering industry as a whole, where it's just more common to take many months to find a job, even a job that pays less than 6 figures. If it's paying 80, 90K, it's getting harder and harder to find a job like that right out of college. You just kind of have to take what you can get. As someone currently working a low-wage job, I find coding as something I'd totally do for a living to make all that money while still having work-life balance, even if it's not my immediate passion, but I was hoping to grab some opinions before venturing into this world. Oh, that's interesting. So this person is working a low-wage job and they're looking into coding. If you currently have a low-wage job, please do not let that stop you one bit from pursuing an engineering degree or career or any other high-paying career. I had a very shitty job working minimum wage in Texas nonetheless. So minimum wage back there is $7.25 still. I think it's $7.75 now, but I was getting paid $7 an hour washing dishes, busting ass. If you're working a low-wage job, use that as motivation to get that higher paying job. My immediate thoughts is that there might be better options based on your current skill set. If you look up online, if you go online and if you search for learn how to code Python, if you start reading that and you're actually intrigued and you're actually super curious about how it works, then I'd say keep going, keep doing it on your own, keep trying it, see how motivated you are every day, try to make a little progress daily. If you're able to do 2 weeks of that and you're actually still interested in it, I'd say go ahead. If you're actually interested in something, then you'll actually want to keep learning. And that's really what is important here. This is going to be your career. This is going to be where you spend a lot of your time, even if you have a healthy work-life balance. Let's read one comment. Well, as usual, be prepared to start from the bottom, which in this industry right now is quite literally not being able to land a job for months or years and possibly working late hours for a psychotic employer for 50K per year when you do finally land a job. If you're coming from the blue-collar world, you wouldn't reasonably expect to get the same treatment as a scholarship kid from MIT, right? Same idea with these 200K per year dream jobs. People getting these kinds of jobs typically have already invested heavily in education for 4+ years and are high achievers at the top of their game. Yeah, that's very true. I find that I do work with a lot of engineers that did not grow up like I did. I grew up very low income as a child of immigrants, as an immigrant myself. So people just expect to be treated differently. It's just how we grew up. It is what it is. You can't change it. That's why I said that if you are coming from the blue collar world, then the way that you expect to get that job or to be treated at work is way different. And so you kind of have a step ahead, in my opinion, in that you already know that it's going to be hard to get that job. You already know that things don't come easy, and you just keep working. And eventually, when hard work meets timing, meets good luck, then you'll get that right opportunity. All right, that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you enjoyed the content. Leave a comment if you have more thoughts. Leave a like, that always helps. That's it for this video. Thank you for watching. See you all next week. Have a good one. Bye.